Welcome friends to the ultimate showdown between Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. In today's video, I'm going to evaluate these two consoles in 13 different categories that I consider the most important, relevant in evaluating these two products. In each category, I will choose a winner, either Series X or PlayStation 5. And I'm going to assign a point to one of these two consoles to finish the video with a tally of points and decide which console has more advantages over the other. The video I'm making today is not from the perspective of advertising. I'm not here to advertise for Sony or Microsoft because yes, well, if they paid me, maybe yes, but they don't pay me. Today's video is made from the perspective of a gamer. I have PlayStation 5, I have Series X, and I've been using them for over a year. I bought games, subscribed to their services, bought their peripherals. I did everything with the consoles. So I believe I know what I'm talking about, and I know what I'm going to be evaluating. It doesn't mean that you can't have a different opinion than mine, and that's absolutely valid. And you can write it in the comments box, because if you're also a user of these consoles and you have a different opinion to give than mine, you can help some user who is trying to decide which one to buy. Well, in addition to having made this clarification, I tell you that at the end of the video, I'm going to give you other tips to choose one of these two consoles. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and turn on notifications because we're dedicated to discussing video games and consoles here. Having said that, and without further ado, let's get started. And we're going to start by evaluating the appearance and design of these two consoles. I know it seems like a minor aspect, but it ends up being important in the long run because they are large objects that need to be placed somewhere in our setup. While the design of the PlayStation 5 is very eye-catching and seems very innovative and very wild, the truth is that in practical terms it ends up being quite annoying because it's a very tall, elongated console with a quite special shape that ends up hindering you from properly placing it in a limited space. In this category, I'm going to give the point to Xbox Series X. I know we all went crazy when we first saw the PlayStation 5 because it seemed, wow, super risky. But simply, this black square fits anywhere. It fits like this, like this, like this. It fits however you want to put it. In terms of design and practicality, I prefer Series X to PlayStation 5. Because sooner or later you come across a piece of furniture or a place where the PlayStation 5 doesn't fit. Keep in mind that if you have a TV stand with reduced spaces, you're going to end up having to put the PlayStation 5 on a small table or to the side or behind the TV standing up, and you could end up damaging the cooling or airflow. In terms of the accessibility of the operating system, I mean, how easy it is to find something or navigate or get around within these consoles. I'm going to give the point to PlayStation 5. And why? Simply because I think the PlayStation 5's operating system is better organized, it's easier to understand, and it's much more intuitive. If you're about to dive into the world of consoles and you don't understand much, you're going to find that Xbox Series has an operating system that is not very intuitive, quite convoluted, and you have to search for everything to find a way to do it. The PlayStation 5 system took a step beyond the PlayStation 4's operating system and became even more intuitive. It's very simple and it's very easy to find what you want to search for. As for the operating system functions, yes, things change here. Because while PlayStation 5 has the help features and the card system and all those things, the truth is that no one uses it. And neither does anyone use the screen sharing feature. Nor do they use other little things that Sony added. On the other hand, on the Xbox Series side, we will also find features that perhaps many do not use. But there is one fundamental feature that is used a lot and that does change the user experience, which is the quick resume function. It's a feature that allows us to have up to 4 games open at the same time and switch between these games without delay and without loading time. The PlayStation 5 operating system adds the card system, which helps you know what's next in the game, or what task to dedicate yourself to within a game. It also has a help system and a screen sharing system, and things that, honestly, as a user, I never used. I've been playing PlayStation 5 for a year and I've never used them. Series X also has some features that it adds, and others, but the truth is that the most interesting quick resume is the feature that is used when they announced it for the operating system of Series. The truth is that I thought I was not going to use it, but eventually I got used to it. In the long run, one gets used to it. I got used to having several games open and switching, and the truth is that it is very practical, and that function is very interesting. Especially if you share the console with other people in your house, and each one can have their game open. That's why I give this point to Xbox Series. Regarding the compatibility of the operating system, I'm also going to give another point to Xbox Series X. First of all, because it has total and very good compatibility with the Microsoft Edge browser. And you can use a keyboard and a mouse on your Xbox Series X, as if it were a PC, and you can do everything you do on a standard PC on your console. This adds the possibility that you can use your console to study or to draft text files, or to do anything you can think of. Something that does not happen on PlayStation 5. That, at the time of making this video, still does not have a web browser enabled. In addition, it should be noted that Xbox Series X has total compatibility with Xbox One games and with some Xbox 360 games. Even from the original Xbox with graphic improvements and some little things that add to the experience. While PlayStation 5 has total compatibility with PlayStation 4 and even several games with improvements, I think that Microsoft Edge and how the browser works on Series X is the fundamental aspect that gives this point to Xbox. In addition, Xbox Series is compatible with Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision, and it is compatible with a larger number of monitors and accepts variable refresh rate and blah 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 blah. This video won't be overly technical. I clarify this for the technicians who are already commenting. You forgot to say such a thing. I'm talking about the general aspects that interest the majority. Series X and its operating system has greater compatibility than that of PlayStation 5. That is one of the things that adds complexity to the operating system. Oof! As for the stability of the operating system, on Xbox Series X games have closed on me, headphones have disconnected on me, games have blocked me without explanation, and on PS5 saved files have been deleted or have not been compatible, or between PS4 and PS5 or system updates have left me a day without being able to use the console. For my taste, neither of these two consoles has a well-polished operating system. None of these operating systems gives me the impression that it is superior to the other. In terms of the stability of these systems, for me it's a tie. Why? Because neither of the two is finished. I know there will be detractors from what I'm saying. But I had problems all year. Okay, they weren't a problem every day, but a little problem per month, something always came up on one of the two consoles. Or the quick resume closing games or PlayStation files of or 4 that are not compatible on PlayStation 5 from saved games that do exist on PlayStation 5, or the online that falls, or games that I can't access all year. I had some problem on both consoles equally. So this is a tie. Okay, I'm not going to get into talking about architecture, nor am I going to talk about circuits or processors or random access memory or anything like that. In this section of internal hardware, here I'm simply going to mention the most important aspect for any average user, and that is storage, on both consoles. On Xbox Series X and on PlayStation 5. Expanding the console's storage is very expensive. Perhaps in one it's more expensive than in the other, or whatever you want to comment in the comments, but in both it's expensive. And while on PlayStation 5 games take up a little less space due to the console's data compression system, the 1000 GBD of Series X feel very comfortable. And this aspect, although for my type of use it is not fundamental, I understand that for many users it is fundamental. Therefore, the point of this category is going to go to Xbox Series X. For me, more internal storage is not fundamental, but it is for many users, especially for users who have a very slow internet connection, and that maybe downloading Warzone takes 2 or 3 days. If you are one of those users with a slightly slower internet connection, you probably don't want to delete a 50 gigabyte game to install another, because the day you want to play that game again, you have to wait another day or two for it to install. Or if you have limited data, for example, it's not my case. I have a good internet connection. I don't care or mind or find it difficult that the PS5 has less storage than the Series X, but I understand that it can be a fundamental factor for many people. So, that this point goes to Series X for having more internal storage. Series X is more powerful, but you're not commenting on it. You're not commenting if you were flap say, I don't care, and nobody cares about that. The average user is interested in being able to have many games and not to be messing around uninstalling video games. Well, here the thing is also very subjective to such an extent that I'm not going to assign any points to either of the two consoles. While it is true that in 2021, PlayStation had more exclusive content than Xbox. But the truth is a matter of taste, because you may like or dislike the games that are having exclusive PlayStation or Xbox. So I'm not going to get into a matter of tastes. This point you have to assign yourselves. I'm talking about the things that are objective. This is too subjective. Because today, at the time of making this video, Series X has Halo Infinite. And it has Forza Horizon 5 as its big exclusives, but maybe you don't like either shooting or cars. Even though those are good games. So you have to decide, oh, PlayStation 5 has Ratchet Clank, Returnal, Sackboy, Demon's Souls. Maybe you don't like any of those games. Do you like cars and shooting? PlayStation 5 lacks racing and shooting games, with Returnal being an exception. The point assignment depends on your perception of the exclusive catalog. In this section, I give the point to PS5 without hesitation. The PS5 controller is an evolution from the PS4 controller. The Xbox One controller remains unchanged, while the PlayStation 5 offers a pleasant and distinctive design with improved ergonomics. The Xbox controller isn't bad, but it's the same as always, whereas the PlayStation 5 controller introduces notable enhancements. It has haptic vibration that many games don't take advantage of, others do, but it still feels good, it feels very nice. It has resistive triggers, there are games that don't take advantage of it and others that do, but it also feels and very well. It has an integrated microphone and it has an integrated battery, which, sorry for always getting into the same controversy. This is still using batteries. In 2021, nothing, it seems to me. Absurd. As for camera and accessories, look, the camera is almost useless, but PlayStation 5 has it. And even though the stream is terrible, you have the camera. And you have the option to use it. And you also have the charging base for the controllers, which, well, Series X doesn't officially have. So this point basically goes to PlayStation 5 because there's no competition on the other side. We're discussing official accessories like headsets, controllers, and more. Sony and Microsoft have officially launched peripherals for their consoles. While other brands offer peripherals for these consoles, considering only what Sony and Microsoft have launched, the PlayStation 5 has more peripherals, including a camera. If you want to stream from PlayStation 5, I'm telling you that the Series X is terrible. Neither of the two are good. In fact, I could have put this in a category. But neither of the two gets any points. Because they are horrible. But at least on PlayStation 5, you have the option to put a camera if you want to use it for something. So point for PlayStation 5. As for the headset, as I was saying before, we are going to talk about the official ones from Sony and Microsoft for these consoles. And regarding them, the Xbox ones are superior. In terms of materials, in terms of support, in terms of functions, and in terms of audio. The PlayStation 5 headphones are quite good, with very good audio quality. I'm not saying they're bad at all, but I still find the product that Microsoft launched for the Xbox Series superior. In fact, another thing that adds to these headsets is that they are highly recommended for playing on PC, which gives you more uses for these headsets. In addition, these headsets have very interesting features. About the PS5 headsets and the Xbox Series headsets, I have made a video talking in depth. These are the videos that are coming out now here. They will be in the first comment. I use them all the time. I play on PlayStation 5 with my PlayStation 5 headset. On Series X and PC with my Series headset, the Series ones are better and better built. Enhanced features, compatibility, battery life. Connect two Bluetooth devices simultaneously. Full Android compatibility. Nothing. They have everything. The truth is, they have everything. And here the two consoles tie again. Because the online of the two brands is not perfect. there's always some problem with Xbox Live, or there's always some problem with PlayStation Plus, and I'm not interested in which one has less or... Both Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus online services suffer from instability. Arguments about which one crashes more are irrelevant. The fact is, both are online services with issues that leave something to be desired. So I'm going to tie this one for both. But regarding subscription services, I'm going to give this point without a doubt to Xbox Series, because Xbox Series X has Game Pass. I mean, you can access Game Pass. And while this is a service that has been active since 2017, this 2021 was a great year for the service. And Microsoft really stepped up by adding great games to the service. And it became a great option to play many games for little money, simply. It's true that on the other side, on Sony's side, there's PlayStation Plus. It's a service that I really like and that offers very good games every year. The truth is, I prefer Game Pass. I think it gives you more options and possibilities. Plus, it gives you games from day one of their release. We're talking about Xbox exclusives. Sony also offers PlayStation Now. But unfortunately, its coverage is limited, which leaves it out of the equation. I also leave xCloud out of the equation, because its coverage is very limited. For me, there's no doubt about this. Game Pass is now a top-notch service, but it wasn't always so. In fact, I was one of those who criticized Game Pass in its early years because I thought it was garbage. But the service improved a lot, and we have to acknowledge that. I spent this 2021 playing Game Pass. In fact, it's the only thing I play on my Series X because I buy the games on PlayStation. Because I like the PlayStation controller more. But the Series X is superior, it has more power. I'm not interested. If you want to know exactly how it works, Game Pass and exactly how PlayStation Plus works, to know more about this, these two videos that are also in the first comment, what I have to evaluate is the price of these consoles. And I already know what you're going to tell me. Series X and PlayStation 5. They have the same list prices and end up costing more or less the same. And yes, it's true, but I'm not going directly to the console price, but to the price of their products. What you're going to have to spend when you buy this console. Because buying the console is the first step. Then you have to buy games, pay for services, peripherals, and so on. And in this aspect, simply wins Xbox Series X. And why? Because with Series X, you spend less money, especially in Latin America, because there are many countries where Microsoft has regionalized prices, and you avoid paying for games or services in foreign currency, that is, in dollars, and you can pay in your country's currency. In addition, Xbox exclusives come out day one on Xbox Game Pass, so you pay for a month of Game Pass for about $10, and you can play a game that on PlayStation would be costing you $70. Then if you like the game, you can buy it. You may choose not to buy it or wait for the price to drop before purchasing. This might not affect Europe or the United States, but it does impact the vast majority of Latin American countries, which make up the majority. PlayStation sells you in dollars, and in many of those countries there are taxes on foreign currency purchases. And Microsoft has regionalized stores in most Latin American countries. Not in all, not in all. This gives you an advantage because you can buy in your country's currency. And many times that, with the purchase on credit cards, makes you recharge some kind of tax. The point count is giving me 7 points for Xbox Series X and 3 points for PlayStation 5. Surely someone here is tearing their hair out in rage and saying, "You're an Xboxer." This is my criteria, this is my evaluation of these two products. You can disagree, you can differ on some point. You can express yourself respectfully down here in the comments. And trying to help another user who is watching this video to know which one to buy. Which is what I'm trying to do. Well, the first thing you have to do before deciding on one of these two consoles is to check if in your country, digital stores sell games in either local or foreign currency, especially in Latin America. You should also check which services from each brand are available in your country. For instance, PlayStation Now is offered in Spain. It's not in Uruguay. For example, I don't remember if it was Colombia that didn't have Game Pass, but you guys corrected me. Mexico has Game Pass. These issues can be solved with some tricks. But from Before buying, find out if the consoles and game distributors are available in your country, especially for physical games. Here are some tips to consider when choosing between the two consoles. If you didn't have a PlayStation 4 and enjoy games like Uncharted, The Last of Us, and God of War, consider those factors in your decision. Gran Turismo and Sony's exclusive franchises are great reasons to choose PlayStation 5. You'll enjoy a huge catalog of PS4 exclusives with better stability and performance. You have the PlayStation Plus collection, a collection of games. PlayStation Plus provides access to a vast catalog of games. Great time if you enjoy those titles, especially if you didn't own a PlayStation 4. However, if you prefer games like Fortnite, Federación Internacional de Fútbol Association Warzone, or Rocket League, the catalog might not cater to your interests. If you play those types of games, go for Series X. Why? Because you'll be able to play all of these free to play. You have the quick resume to switch between games, and the day you want to experiment with playing something else. Because maybe you start to get bored of so much Fortnite or Warzone, you pay for a month of Game Pass, maybe a promotional month, and you try some games from the catalog and you discover more titles. Now, if you currently have PlayStation 4, you've played the entire PlayStation 4 catalog, you know all the PlayStation 4 exclusives, and you're thinking about making the jump to PlayStation 5, my advice is don't do it. Don't rush. It's not worth it yet. In my opinion, okay? There are some good games, but the truth is that paying a premium or being desperate for a console to play 2 or 3 games, it's not worth it. If you want to play something different because you've exhausted your PlayStation 4, I would tell you to buy an Xbox Series S to have both ecosystems. You can play Game Pass on that Series S when you have nothing to play on your PlayStation. And in 2023 or late 2022, you can buy the PlayStation 5 that will have a more interesting catalog to play Sony games. If you don't have a budget for a 4K 60Hz TV, which are quite expensive, and you have an Xbox One, and especially if you have an Xbox One X, don't rush for Xbox Series X, don't go crazy, because you're going to have a great console that without a 4K TV, the truth is that it loses a bit of its charm. While the loading times are fast and all that, games are visually appealing. I would tell you to prioritize having a better TV to play on your Xbox One and then go for the Xbox Series X. If you have a very tight budget, very little money just for the console, and then you don't know how you're going to buy games, go for Series X. Don't go for PlayStation 5 because PlayStation 5 requires more money to play. It's absolute honesty. Now, if you're stuck on wanting to buy the PlayStation 5 or stuck on wanting to buy the Series X and you've already decided, and I don't know why you're watching this video because you're totally decided, go for what you want and enjoy it. That's all. Don't let anyone else come and tell you that what you chose is right or wrong, is correct or incorrect. You should have made better use of the money. Don't let anyone tell you that because no one has the criteria to decide on your tastes. And don't go telling anyone else either because you don't have the criteria to decide on others' tastes. Whew! Very long video. But well, I think it has merited making this video. You've been asking me for it for a while. I invite you to share it. I invite you to like it. And I invite you to write in the comments what your opinion is about this analysis I made and what your analysis is about these consoles. Please, leave the absurd fanaticism aside. Nobody's interested in it. Of all the peripherals I talked about, everything I mentioned, there is a video made on this channel. You'll find videos about the headsets, about the controllers, about peripherals, compatibility, a lot of things. Because that's what we do on this channel. So if you like this little topic, subscribe, you won't regret it. Friends, I am Puro. This is Big Data News, and see you next time. Sonier.